Hi, I'm Steve Thompson, president of Emery Thompson Machine.
I'm Christi Brown, vice president of sales and marketing.
And welcome to Questions Answered. Christi, why don't you start off?
Okay, so my first one is about the CB350. Should I take the O-rings and the gate O-ring and the door O-ring off of my door after I am running my production to wash, or are they designed to stay on? Your door O-ring does come off fairly easily, so that one can come off and be washed, but your gate O-ring shouldn't really, you don't have to take the whole thing apart every single time you're done at the end of the day. It's in there precisely, and it needs to be lubricated, and that's a lot of the issues that customers get when it starts to leak because they didn't put it back properly or they're not lubricating it either. And then as far as the dasher shaft O-rings, I would suggest taking those off at least once a week to give it a good scrub underneath if you're not going to wash it very thoroughly. That's it for me.
All right.
Well,
till the next one.
Yeah, till the next one.
All right. My one for right now is, can I use iRice Mango, which is made for Italian ices? Can I use it in ice cream? And I didn't know the answer to that, so I went to my old friend Rod Oranger. Well, old in knowledge, not in years. Rod is very interesting. Rod ran a business up in Boston called Oranger, and his name is Rod Oranger. And then he retired from that, stayed retired about for 10 minutes, and then went to work for iRice, where he has spent years developing fantastic flavors for them. I think some of the best around. I love their mango. Because mangoes are so variable and it's hard to know when they're ripe and they're hard to get. So I use it for Italian ice. So I called up Rod and I said, can I use this in ice cream? And he wrote back and said, I'm on vacation, don't bother me, but even though you did, I would use 24 ounces to 2.5 gallons of mix. Now, 2.5 gallons of mix is what we put into our model 24 quart and make 2 big tubs. So you can take 24 ounces and 2.5 gallons of mix and divide it down to the 12 quart, the 6 quart, and the 3 quart. He also suggested a ½ ounce of citric acid. Citric acid is an inexpensive way to make things tart. I would much prefer using 1 or 2 fresh lemons. That's citric. The fresh lemons aren't going to have any aftertaste. It's going to give a nice little kick to the product. So go the all-natural way on that one.
Okay. And actually on the last seminar that we did, Jeff used that in ice cream. He used the strawberry base. He tasted his formula and the machine and needed help. So he went and, of course, doing it Jeff style, just glugged it in there. He doesn't measure anything. We all know that.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So my next one is can the CB200 sit on your counter in your kitchen? Yes, it can. It's 117 pounds around there. But you do that, you're going to need a step ladder to pour your ingredients into your machine. And I try very much to express that. Have a low countertop to put it on, or buy yourself, one of our stands to put it on in your kitchen, or do what my husband did. He custom made me one that matches my decor.
Perfect.
Yeah, unless I don't have to use a step stool. But
we also sell a stand for the CB350 and the CB200 because neither one of us are extremely tall.
No.
And so instead of having to pour in over your shoulders when it's on a standard height, now it's down here.
Yep.
Kind of like the one behind you.
Kind of like the one behind me.
This.
Right there.
Well, that was
Yes.
already a different Q&A, Mike. Shh.
Let's see. I had a customer named Scott, and Scott wanted me to look over his signboard for any suggestions. And I wrote back, Dear Scott, the danger in asking someone their opinion is they'll give you their opinion. And so if you don't want to be told what you're doing wrong, you don't want to call up and ask. But he had some very good questions, and my last few are going to come from them. He asked, I saw on his menu that he had a mini size, a small size, and a regular size. And they were all priced differently. And Tie-Dye Jeff, who does the videos with us, really answered this one correctly. I didn't agree with him for many years. I was into 1 scoop, 2 scoops, 3 scoops, and he just sells one straight size. The problem with having in Scott's menu of mini, small, and regular is a lot of people, especially when they get older, are going to go for the mini or small. And the problem with that is you're not making as much money. And labor-wise, making the ice cream, storing the ice cream, serving the ice cream, you're doing just as much labor selling a mini as you are a regular. So just sell the regular and get a really good price.
Real quick on that too, probably run out of time, but I did notice, because I got that email as well, he had a hot fudge sundae, or just ice cream with fudge, and then a homemade fresh waffle cone was the same exact price. We know that making a fresh waffle cone is way more cost effective, or way more costly to make, and of course the labor into it, than just sitting there, some hot fudge on an ice cream. So make those prices different, up the waffle cone.
Yeah, and following that, I suggested, I don't really like the waffle cone.
That's my favorite.
Oh, but it stinks up the store.
I just hit my mic.
You just hit the mic, bam.
I did.
Sorry, folks. I had it in an Italian ice store down in Boynton Beach, and that's all you smelled was waffle cone. And I think it's okay once in a while, but it's like popcorn. It gets annoying after a while.
Well, I like
But
it.
that's what happens when you ask a question. You're going to get 5 different answers.
Right. Do we have enough time, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. I have the question of what is the difference between the 220 volt and the 115 when it comes to a CB200? The 115 is obvious, a normal household plug that you can plug in just like your toaster or microwave, and the 220 is a special outlet and a plug and a receptacle that we provide for you. And I get the common question of why would one choose one over the other? The 220 volt is mainly common for restaurants, hotels, pizzerias, because they have pretty much all of their outlets taken up already from their blenders or their microwaves, which we all know they shouldn't have, and toasters and things of that sort. So a 220 is pretty standard and common for that. But when you go to a household use, a commercial kitchen, a food truck or trailer, the CB200 115 volts, real great for that.
Yeah, it's just so convenient.
Efficiency is the same. They both run the same, function the same. Not one is better than the other.
And just think, if you've got 3 strong friends, you could bring it to a cocktail party. You'll be
Yeah.
the highlight of the cocktail party.
Well, maybe in the 50s. Nobody does cocktail parties anymore.
All right, a rave. People still doing raves?
Well, I think that's more early 2000s.
Yeah, I'm really dating
Yeah.
I give up, sorry. I give up. Back to this menu board. I also noticed that Scott had a cone for about $4 and a pint for $4.50. Well, the cone was probably about 5 ounces, which is a good size nowadays. If you're going to charge $4 or $5 for a cone, or I prefer the cup, give a good sized portion. Make it worth their while. It's not going to cost you that much more. But the pints at $4.50, that's like me talking about a rave or a 1950s cocktail party. I mean, it is just so out of place. Leave the $4.50 pints to Breyers and companies like that. You want to get $7, $8, $9, $10 for a pint. And believe me, people will. And the beauty is, and we've said this before, they'll always buy 2. So my suggestion to Scott was the cone at $4 is fine, but bring that price of the pint up and make that a big takeout item.
30 seconds.
Yeah, and then I guess you can do the famous tall tale, the 2 for $5 or 1 for $3, because everybody's going to buy the 2 for $5.
Yeah.
Obviously, make it more than that, please.
Yes, get your prices up there. Dairy products have gone up, and you need to be able to still always make a profit. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.